good morning, and good night. Thanks again for downloading the Body Snatchers podcast. If you like what you hear today, don't forget to subscribe and comment. So let's get started. Enjoy the show.
All right, guys. Good morning, good night. Thank you for choosing the Body Snatchers podcast. Tino here, hanging out with Gia. I know it's been a little while since we've done stuff. If you guys are new, please head over to bodysnatchersmedia.com. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and I think that's pretty much everything that counts, right, for social media?
Yeah, pretty much.
Everything that matters. So sorry we haven't been around much lately. Our personal lives were hit really heavy with this whole Corona thing. So if you're listening, I hope you guys are okay out there. If you've been laid off work, I hope you've signed up for unemployment. I hope this stuff doesn't last too long because it's wild out here. How you doing, Gia?
Doing pretty good. It's definitely been a trip and been interesting, and my introvert self is really enjoying the kind of forced time off work. I'm not forced to interact, but I have been sick. I caught the common cold virus last week before all of this blew up with the rest of the United States, and it caused me to get a pretty bad sinus infection. So I've just kind of been recovering from that. And I finally went back in 3 days ago, something like that. I don't know. I went in last Friday. They didn't want to give me any antibiotics because they're like, oh, it should clear up by itself. But all my sinus infections always need antibiotics or I just stay sick forever. So I went back in and they're like, yeah, holy crap, you do need this. So once I started taking that, though, I started feeling loads better. I've just been sleeping a lot.
Well, I'm definitely glad you're feeling better. I mean, yeah, it just kind of, it is what it is right now. I didn't want to panic when everything kind of hit the fan, but I made sure to not be unprepared. So, stocked up on extra groceries and stuff like that. I think the only thing that I'm concerned about, that most people are concerned about, is finances. Because I work in IT, so, the odds of me getting laid off are pretty slim because I am considered essential to a degree. But I'm also doing everything from home because my physical office and place of business is not allowed to be open because Illinois has they're not saying lockdown, it's like a shelter thing, but it's basically a lockdown. Take your ass home.
Yeah, we had the same thing. New York did it first, then we did it over here in California. And then I knew, because everything that New York's been doing, a day or two later, you all in Illinois have been doing the same exact thing. So once I started seeing they were closing down the gyms and everything, I started tagging you in it because I was like, yeah, that stuff's about to follow suit.
Right. I was hoping we'd get a few more days, but we didn't. We got a day.
And we have it. It's not too bad here. They closed down all the dining in places, but all the restaurants, if they can do takeout or delivery, they're all still pretty much open. And I got so sad when the gym closed, and then they closed down our cardio room here at the apartment complex. So now I'm just holy crap. So I have a jump rope though, and I've been doing that, but we can still go out and walk and whatnot. They're not telling us to stay at home, which is what a lot of people were confused about. And even people who still here, they kind of sort of read the first part of the news on it, and they're just stay at home. Oh no, it's about to be martial law. And I'm just yeah, no, it's not.
No.
So San Francisco was the first city of ours that actually did a mandatory 24/7 shutdown, and they have a curfew and everything. But somebody was yeah, the National Guard's up there asking people why they're leaving their homes. I'm no, we're not. What?
Yeah, no, it hasn't gotten to that point yet.
No.
And hopefully it doesn't, I don't know. I'm just concerned about, people's jobs and stuff, because the wild thing is with America, I totally understand and respect the decision to stop pretty much everything because you need to in order to kind of contain this. That's fine. I just wish that we had some more, liable options for things that we're obligated to pay, because if people don't have money, it's you would think that, the credit card companies and stuff like that would work with you to keep those accounts balanced and current so that once everything turns around, everybody's going to be a good standing, because it's going to turn into a shit show.
And some places are actually being helpful in that manner. I know, I don't know if it was you I was talking to or another friend. It was you. We were talking about the mortgage thing. My mortgage company is just hey, we understand what's going on. We'll add this to the back end if you can't pay it. So just reach out to us, let us know if something happened, your finances were, hit. And a lot of the other places that I have, loans through or have been doing the same thing. So like my home loan is really my only loan, but I have like a small credit card and I don't owe anything on that. But they did reach out too, and they're like, hey, if you need to use it, we'll like give you this next couple months interest free on like your payments back. And it won't be like, you won't have a specific due date. We're gonna delay like reporting to credit, like the credit bureau. I think it was for like 4 or 5 months after everything recovers. And I was like, that's pretty cool. But I know there's a lot of places not doing that. And it's just, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, so far, none of my accounts, and I have a lot of accounts, are doing that, which is kind of crazy to me, like nothing at all. They keep sending out emails that are like, hey, if you've been affected by the coronavirus, I'm like, okay, that's everybody. And they're like, make sure that you know we have online resources. And I'm like, oh, okay. And they provide you a link. You click on link, and the link
is how to
like,
pay yourself online. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, why did you even bother? Like, you know,
I will say that like my apartment complex kind of did the same kind of BS. Like they sent us this whole letter, and they're like, oh yeah, so this is going on, and you know, we can't evict you, but we can evict you after everything's done if you don't pay us in full. And I was like, God dang. Like, I mean, I'm going to pay in full because luckily, like, while I was forced to work from home, basically, and for me, my job is literally a hands-on job, so I can't really do it remotely. I don't have all the power tools here at home. I don't have welding machines, etc. But they're still paying me as if I was working remotely. So I'm lucky, but I know there's a lot of people that aren't lucky in that manner. So I'll still be able to pay most of my bills, just would have to like hold off on some of them. But it's just, I feel bad for people.
Oh, yeah. I'm hoping I don't end up joining the laid off team. I definitely did take a temporary pay cut for the time being, so that's always fun.
Yeah, but this is a perfect lead in to us going to a deserted island, Tino. And
right?
Being isolated with like 3 people. Well, 5, but still.
I would love that. Yeah, I could just walk away from all this chaos. But yeah, not to talk your guys' ears off. You know, I just figured we'd touch base. I actually haven't had a chance to speak to Gia outside of like text messages and stuff since this all went down. So we figured it'd be interesting to catch up. And if you guys want to reach out to us and just let us know some creative ways maybe you're coping with like the whole quarantine lockdown-ish type situation, we'd be more than happy to, you know, check it out, listen, share some of that stuff. If it's creative, I don't want videos of you eating ice cream.
Oh yeah, please don't send that. But definitely, and reach out for sure, because while some places may not be pushing those resources out, if some of you are not following like your district congressperson, find that person, be a part of their newsletters. My congresswoman has been sending emails every single day with different resources to help, whether it's for food banks, whether it's for like the local schools that are doing meals. Because some of the schools aren't just doing meals for like the students or people within a certain age range. They're actually like giving to whole families. So that's something that you could be like on the lookout for if you don't know what's going on, if you are food insecure, if you're having issues with payments on things. There are a lot of resources out there. And at least my congressperson has been very good about pushing that stuff out. You could probably do a quick Google search and see like what resources are available to you.
Slightly on subject, but a nice segue into video games, which is what we'll be discussing for the next 2/3 of this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
You see GameStop trying to pull that bullshit?
You mean we're going to stay open forever even though we were told to close down?
So funny. Yeah. So for those of you who aren't familiar with that, you know, because I realize like we're huge super nerds who keep up on all the crap and you guys just, you know, are spoon fed what we give you. So GameStop basically announced like nationwide, like we don't care like that you guys are locking down and shutting down and all this other stuff. We are essential. And like maybe to some degree you could argue that to gamers and a few other people for the sake of conversation, but I mean, no, you're not essential. And now, like as of today, at least in Illinois, like they're getting cracked down on, I think in maybe Pennsylvania as well. I saw a couple articles where like they were like getting shut down by the police, like coming in there. And I feel bad for the managers and stuff because they're like, you know what I mean? Like it's their job. Like they're just doing what they're told, but it's all bad.
Well, yeah, and it kind of stinks that they're in that situation, but like Big Papa GameStop needs to slow their roll. Like a lot of other companies have gotten to the point where they are literally just shipping everything. And I mean, the U.S. Postal Service is still working. They work in rain, sleet, snow, government shutdowns, country shutdowns.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, they do.
So, like, and a lot of other companies are shipping their stuff. So, like, GameStop could literally just do the same thing and they could just ship things to people. But goodness forbid they do that.
Well, you know what? It's because they make all of their money right now. Like the little money that they're still making is on the BS you don't need in the store, like all the stuff that we buy at cons and things like that.
Yeah, of course. They can offer that stuff on their online website.
Well, no, they could, and they do, some of them anyways, but I don't think that they're in a financial position to reconfigure the way that they do business and, you know what I mean, so quickly, like, because they've been on thin ice, and I think that they know, and the public knows. I mean, everybody kind of knows. It's like that elephant in the room. Like, GameStop is desperately making excuses to hold on because I don't think they'll come back from this. Which is unfortunate, but that's business.
You know what? It would be even more fortunate if they had not, like, I don't know, been cheating people out of money for many years. And I mean, I worked at GameStop was my first job, but it was a little ridiculous that people would come and bring a brand new game in that's been out for like 2 days because they didn't like it, and they would get like a third of what it actually was worth back in credit or cash, and like even less for cash. You'd get more for credit for trading stuff in, but if you wanted cash, it was even less. So they've been digging their hole. And I mean, I love GameStop. I pre-order like almost everything through them unless Amazon has like a better like limited edition thing. So for instance,
they always do.
Well, it depends. The Pokemon stuff, GameStop was exclusive for like the Pokemon gaming systems for the like Nintendo in general. So you could only really get it from GameStop initially, and then like years down the road you could see the things on Amazon. So for some things, yes, but like my Horizon Zero Dawn Collector's Edition, I got that on Amazon, and I got a big ass Aloy statue. And I mean, the Final Fantasy VII Deluxe Edition on Amazon was a little bit better than what was being offered at GameStop, so why not? But I don't know. I think once Demir stopped working there is when I really stopped doing pre-orders also, because that was around the time with the Pokemon Switch or the Switch Lite, sorry. And like literally they only allowed like a couple of pre-orders per store. And I was just like, y'all know that this is where you get a lot of your pre-orders from because you guys are one of the only places that actually sells these systems. And then this year, that wasn't the case. Best Buy had them. And while GameStop was sold out because they decided they only wanted to carry like 30 per store, Best Buy was just like, hey, bro, we got it all too. And then Target started selling them. And I was just like, oh, it's game over for real.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can read the writing, like, between the lines, like what's really happening here. It's just interesting. It's clear that they don't want to take on more than they think they're capable of selling because people are going to these other retailers and they don't want to be stuck having more stock than they need, which is a risky gamble. I get it. But then for people like you that depend on them, you start losing your faith in the company. And then when you look on the back end with stuff that's happening, in the news reports and stuff, like, for instance, the CEO of GameStop was desperately trying to come to an agreement with Walmart to, basically kind of get some serious business deals going there. And to my knowledge, I believe that fell through. Like, Walmart was like, haha, what? Get out of here. So I don't know, how that's going to end up, how the dust is going to settle in that situation. But it's just interesting, watching them. But again, going back to my main point, I do feel really bad for like the employees that are there. I know a lot of you guys, it's, your first job, or maybe you do it just because, hey, it's like, you really enjoy the video game atmosphere, and there's just not a lot of retail places that you can get that full experience outside of GameStop. I totally get that. So, stay strong, guys. I mean, hopefully things do work out, or they get bought up, or there's a bailout, or, whatever have you. Yeah, so that's pretty much all I wanted to say with that. Anything else you wanted to add to that before we talk a little bit about Animal Crossing here?
No, just let's slide right onto this deserted island that we are currently living in the United States.
Oh, I'm gonna slide in. So, Animal Crossing, Gia is a much bigger fan of this franchise than I am, and she indirectly convinced me to get it. I don't think that one time did she tell me to. She just kept pushing it in my face. Oh, look how great this is, and I can't wait for that. God damn it, Gia, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it.
Now, you know what? So there was a more indirect passive aggressive push. There was like this contest that Kellz tagged us in, and it was just like, oh, tag a person who you'd want to play and tell us why you want to play it with them. And Kellz tagged both of us, and he was like, so I can go raid their farms. And I was just like, all right, so I'm gonna tag him back and just say so I can ban with Tino to defend my farms. But that was that point, and he was just like, I don't know if I'm gonna get it. And I was like, dude, if I win this, I'll just give you the copy. And then he eventually bought it, and bought it for Kathy too.
Right. Well, it's a quarantine, and I'm locked in the house with this weirdo, so we might as well try to enjoy ourselves with Animal Crossing. She's mad right now because I won't let her come to my farm, or island rather. But I don't want to yet because she's hopelessly addicted to things like this, which there's nothing wrong with.
She's a Sims person.
Oh yeah, like she came in. I was working from home. I was in my office, and she stopped in, and she's. I had already made plans mentally to purchase 2 copies of the game, and I was getting ready to tell her. But of course, I brought up Animal Crossing first just to see what she thought about it, and she's like, yeah. I've been looking at that, and I'm like, I know. And she's like, and I cut her off, and I was like, and you're asking if we can get the game because you heard that it plays like The Sims with adorable animals? She was like, you don't know me. But she was super geeked and excited.
Did she scratch her chin too when she said you don't know me?
Yeah, and then she walked out the room.
Well, to be fair, I did jump into her island today, and I helped her out with a little bit of stuff. I planted 2 coconut trees and a bamboo tree for her, and then had her start this quest with this duck that gets stuck on your island because he falls overboard because he's an idiot.
Oh,
and his name's Gulliver, from Gulliver's Travels. So I thought that was hilarious. Funny. Yeah.
I tried to find to find your island, but nothing pulled up on my Nintendo account. It was weird. So maybe afterwards, did you guys send each other the codes or whatever?
No. So all you have to do when you you go to the airport, you set it up to you want people to visit your island or you want to visit someone else's island, but they have to have theirs open for people to visit. So essentially you would go on, you'd say, I want people to visit my island. And then you would say all friends.
I got to open it up.
Yeah. And then you would say all friends can join. And then whoever's on your friends list at the time, if they go, I want to visit someone else's island, I want to do it online, and all friends, it'll pull up the people whose islands are open. So I joined hers, and then she jumped over on mine. She left a little cute hearts thing on my bulletin board. And then she left. But I gave her orange trees and a bunch of other stuff. And she gave me some peaches. So I guess it was a fair trade.
Perfect. Okay, so that was going to be my question. I've had so much going on with work and all that. I got a couple hours into the game, but I haven't gotten all the ins and outs yet. So yeah, perfect. That's good to know. I just dabbled with it. I did want to mention with this game, if you guys are like me and you're totally new to this, I will say that some of the elements that I could probably best compare to Minecraft are involved in here. And I'm not saying that it's Minecraft by any means. What I mean by that is the kind of survivalist building mechanism is there, which is fun. So you can, craft and just build stuff. I love that aspect of the game, and, just go out and gather items. Absolutely love it. But the second thing that I really like about it is the music. The music is so chill and relaxing. You can just veg out on the couch, or for me, I was playing on my treadmill, just walking for an hour at a reasonable pace today, playing on the game, and I was just in the zone. It was watching a TV show or something. I had no issues. I absolutely loved it. So if you like that kind of stuff in games, I would strongly encourage you to at least look at some video reviews, make sure it's for you, and then consider buying it, because I'm having a lot of fun. I really am.
Oh, and definitely. I can agree with the calming music and everything. I mean, to be fair, yesterday I spent a long time playing on the game because there's a lot of stuff that you can do in day one, but you have to actually just be sitting there kind of grinding, I guess you would call it. So I just spent a lot of time running around and completing a lot of the Nuke Miles little quests, like catch 5 fish or catch 5 bugs, and then they keep recycling. And then you can also do other things where if you plant, a tree, you'll get some new Nuke Miles passport. It's not really the passport, but a little new stamp book that you start getting stamps in, and you start collecting miles. So I was just doing that, and I managed to be able to pay off all of my miles for traveling to the island in 2 or 3 hours. I, purchased a whole house. So this morning when I started on day 2, I already had a house. I already had Mr. Blathers, which is the owl. I don't know if you've gotten to that point, but if you give Tom Nook 5 random critters, be it bugs or fish, it'll bring this owl that opens up a museum basically.
So for me, and this is one thing I wanted to bring up, not to like interject, but it piggybacks. The time thing, I don't want to say it's frustrating, but I'm getting used to that. There's an ability where you can like skip because this game runs in real time. So you could like adjust your Switch's time in order to skip a day, and then you can bounce back. Gia and I were discussing that earlier.
Yes.
The reason that becomes a little bit irritating is for instance, for like the owl and the house, I'm actually waiting for tomorrow. So like I have the house blueprint sitting and I have the museum sitting, and I'm waiting for them to build it basically. So there's like a sign, it's like under construction, and I literally have to wait until tomorrow.
See, and when I started playing yesterday, so I played for a lot of the day. I had an involuntary nap for like 3 hours last night, and then I played a little bit more, but I was able to get all of that stuff done right before I went to sleep. So when I woke up this morning, the tent for the owl was done and my house was done, and then I started like paying off the bells for the house because you can't switch those to miles. So I'm actually like down to just owing 14,000 out of the 98,000 for the house, which I'm going to finish that up tonight. But that's just basically, I've just been walking around picking up seashells, picking or fishing and selling that, going to mystery islands, because I racked up so many of the nuke miles. I was able to just buy a bunch of the little tickets, and then I've been going out and like just picking up fruit and other things from these islands and coming back. Actually visiting Kathy's island, I almost said farm, allowed me to get peaches, which something that you'll notice when you, and actually they'll tell you this too, if you go and you bring fruit that is not native to your island, you can sell it for more. So
I did see that. Yeah.
So getting the peaches from her, I was able to sell those for quite a bit. And just even going to the mystery islands, you start seeing coconut trees and things of that nature. So I was like getting that and selling it. So it goes pretty quickly too, even without skipping. Now, as you did mention, I did do a skip just to see how it would work. I was unable to successfully do it without having the time or the internet time on. I tried to do it with that off and just changing the date and time, and it didn't do anything. So then I went ahead, I turned it back on, I switched my time to Korea time, basically, because I knew for sure they were a day ahead. And then I went back, it actually populated that it was the next day. And then for me, that next day was because I went ahead and I finished up the quest with the owl to give him more like stuff for him to want to build a museum. So doing that day skip made it so that that museum is starting to be built, but there's always like a day in between these things. So it's just like all covered by stuff. I'm almost done like getting a shop. So there's like a lot of stuff that you can do even without time skipping. It's just a matter of like just actively going out and getting different materials and going back and talking to the raccoons back in the resources center too.
Okay. And that's one thing that I like, is that they've done such a good job at finding a way to create a multiplayer atmosphere, you know, because it's one of those games where it seems like you shouldn't be able to, but they've thought of all the stuff that we probably wouldn't have thought of offhand and like just made it work. And I appreciate them for that. So to be honest, I'm pretty excited about kind of moving forward with, you know, all the ins and outs. Also, I really like the clothing options and stuff. I think that's really fun. You know, like just the stuff they gave you to be able to, you know, customize your character. A lot of games lately have lacked in that. And this one I don't think does. Like they do it in a fun way.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like Kathy actually just sent me a picture, and I'm like looking at it while we're talking. But somebody made all of the Sailor Fukus from freaking Sailor Moon. Like,
oh really?
Yes, like just edited out everything and has like different color skirts. So they literally have like everybody and Chibi Moon in here.
That's funny as hell.
And of course, Bram was making stuff. He's like, look at this thing that I made, because I got him a copy too, so he could stop nagging me. And he was just like, look what I made, mommy. And it's just like a bunch of colors. And I'm like, I have no idea what that is. It looks great, Bram. You did such a good job.
It's a kaleidoscope. No, that's funny. But yeah, it's everything in this game has been hopelessly addicting. The weather patterns change slowly throughout the day, and they're not like super abrupt like Pokemon. One problem that I had with Pokemon, I know, strange comparison, but it's all Nintendo games, is out there in the zones where what are they? Was it the Wildlands? Yeah, Wildlands. It's all coming back. And you're going through. I didn't like how you'd be like in the wildlands and like you'd be riding your bike and it would like start raining or start snowing like immediately. Like it just felt a little abrupt to me. This game it feels like it makes sense with like the atmosphere and like where you're at and the time zone, and it's just a little better.
It does. And I don't know if this has happened for you yet, but it's raining in my game, and it has been raining all day. And when it started to rain, like the weather literally like you were saying, it slowly changed. Like I got cloud cover, a little bit of cloud cover at first, then more, then like the like it was just kind of darker outside, what you would normally see if it was about to start storming, and then it just started raining like probably an hour after that happened, and it's just been raining ever since.
Oh, yeah. No, that's exactly what happened to mine. And I was really enjoying the way they did it. I appreciated that. It was minor, but I liked it. And the other thing with that is depending on the weather or time of day, and I'm assuming seasons based on what I've read, you get different type of critters and things that appear, which just adds a fun element to the game. So like, you could sit on that game all day long, but you may not be able to get everything you need just from grinding. A lot of this is time sensitive, and that's fun to me for a solo game.
Yeah.
So that's, just where I'm at with that. And I'm interested to see, how the game develops as you move along, because I have so much stuff I have yet to unlock. And that's really what's exciting me. You've played some of the previous games, Gia. What kind of things in there? Was the setup the same? Were you kind of like landed on an island, or were you just kind of out there and they didn't explain it as well? I'm curious.
Like I was saying before we started streaming, I haven't played one of these games in probably about 8 years. I think the last one I played was New Leaf, and that was so long ago. Like, Bran had just been born, and I kind of fell off of it. Everything feels similar to what I know Animal Crossing to be, but honestly, I don't remember it enough to give enough of a background and say, oh, it's exactly like it. Or I do know that a lot of, obviously the animation is basically the same. Like from if you played it on, a newer system or even one of the older systems, the graphics are still pretty much like the same as what they were. And by graphics, I mean like how the characters look and how like the land just kind of looks.
Yeah, it's got a spit shine to it now, but I
do know that. Before I used to raid people's farms because I was a jerk, especially if like my friends were just rude. I would just go in there and like take a bunch of their stuff and like leave. But this one, they kind of made it, they fixed that issue. So this one, in order to use certain tools on someone else's island, you have to be best friends with them. And they can easily take that away if you do anything that you're not supposed to. So in order for me to go in, and so for me, in order to go in Kathy's island and help her with some things or like show her how to do some things, she literally had to, well, she didn't have to, but I was like, make me a best friend. And she was like, okay. And then I was able to start like showing her she could chop down trees or she can like dig up trees and things of that nature.
That's all we needed.
Yes.
I got a Sour who follows you and me on Twitch. He just messaged me on Instagram, was asking if we got Animal Crossing. I'm like, funny you mentioned that. Like, we're actually talking about it right now.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, you and I are probably going to have to make some time to start getting back on the streams. I know people have been very upset that you and I have not been on, and I guess there's not too many
with this plethora of time that I have, now that everything for the rest of the semester is moving online, I think, I'll be able to actually make time for streaming again.
Yeah, I would love to get back on at least 2 days a week consistently again. It's only 2 or 3 hours of your time. It's not that bad. So I apologize to you guys. It's just life has been real lately. When
everything was in class, like my Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'd be at work from basically 6:30 to 8 because I would have classes in between working, and then I had a class at the end of the day. And the Mondays and Wednesdays were rough because I had jujitsu, and jujitsu shut down too because, coronavirus. Fridays were like my only free day, but then I was spending that with Brian all day. Man, and the Saturdays and Sundays I'd just be cleaning and doing dishes and sleeping. So yeah, it's been a trip. So all this extra time, I actually was gonna stream like the last couple days, but then I kept falling asleep because I wasn't feeling good. So I'm hoping to get back on that probably tomorrow.
Well, there's no reason you and I can't correlate. Maybe we can get on Discord and do a double whammy. Why not? Yeah. Oh wait, you don't have your capture card set up though for Switch, do you?
I do.
Oh, well,
I just have to switch my data from my Switch Lite over to my actual Switch and then bring the dock back here to my room.
Well, if you feel like it, I'm definitely down. I'd love to.
Yeah, because remember we were playing Pokemon and streaming it? A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
I couldn't remember if you were streaming it or not. I know you were in the Discord playing with us.
I streamed it a couple times.
Okay, all right.
When I was actively streaming and we were playing.
Fair enough. I'm not gonna argue that. My memory is not serving me correctly. Life has been wild.
It's all right.
And then I guess thanks, man. And then I guess before we get off, the only other thing I wanted to ask you was, are you enjoying the whole concept of starting off in this island, like being in debt to this little coon Tom? Let me roll that back. let me elaborate, because people aren't here. They're gonna be like, "What the hell?"
He's a raccoon. Yeah,
there's
Tom
a raccoon.
Nook, he's the mayor for like everything in every Animal Crossing. Well, you know what?
He sneak disses you all the time.
He does, but he's actually like a really good character. Like in some of the prior games, you learn that he's like actually donating all of the money that he's making on everything to like schools and charities. So the dude's not actually like keeping all of the money, but he does sneak diss all the time, and it's funny.
His sneak disses have been cracking me up. Like I need to start taking screenshots of them. Like they're so freaking funny.
Well, there was one thing. So when you start going to Mystery Islands, you can invite the people that are like walking around on them to come to your island. And so I've been doing that, and I have this picture because I was talking to this rabbit person. I think her name was like Bubbles or something. But basically, the way that the camera panned, it turned around, and there is like, on inflatable mattresses, how it has that spot where you just basically hook the vacuum up to it to blow it up or to like suck all the air back out of it. And how it like closes with another like plastic lid or whatever that pushes in. This thing literally has that on the back of her head. And I was like, what? And I literally like out loud, I was like, Nani? And Brian was like, what does that mean? It's just like, don't worry about it. But I took a picture of it because I was like, what is going on? Are they all like puppets? But nah, I was not surprised about the being in debt initially because I'm pretty sure I remember that being a part of like every one of the games. Like you move in and then they help you get situated and then you owe money. So yeah, but his sneak disses are real.
I'm gonna post this picture of me from Animal Crossing. The wasps caught me slipping.
I saw that. They caught me slipping too the first day, like within an hour, and then the last time it happened, I had a regular net. So when you start finding iron nuggets, basically you can start upgrading your tools a little bit better. And I made the mistake. They fell. I was like, sweet, I'm going to catch it. But I was too close to the tree. So I shook the tree again. And then I got stung. And I was like, God dang it. I was just trying to catch them. Trying to see if I could catch them.
It's all right, man.
They were rude. Right. But then I know how to make medicine now. So you just take their wasp nest, like 3 clumps of weeds, and then you craft it. And it's good. But you basically have to talk to all the people, like with your messed up face. And they're like, whoa, what happened to you? And then one of them's like, here's this do-it-yourself medicine crafting thing. Read it, please, and fix yourself.
Yeah, the medicine is definitely clutch. And my dumbass, I couldn't figure out where I saw it the first time because I kind of skimmed over it. So I got hit by a second set of wasps.
In Timmy's shop.
And died and, blacked out. And then I had to go back to the shop. And I was like, oh, here it is. Okay, I'm retarded. So
yeah, but if you talk to the peoples, they give you a crafting thingy.
Yeah. Well, I haven't gotten mine yet because I wasn't stung with wasps. I didn't put those two things together, but I will be looking into that next time I get stung because I'm sure it'll happen again.
Yes, it will, especially because there's a little like stamp thing you can do for shaking trees and having items fall out of it. So,
All right. Well, to be honest, I'm really anxious to get back onto this game. Jay is supposed to be stopping over. He also picked up a copy of the game, so
so he can not finish it.
He never finishes things. Do you beat Animal Crossing? Is that a thing? Because Minecraft, you kind of win. It's bittersweet.
Ongoing gameplay. I'm sure it might run out of like some story aspects, but you can pretty much still just do stuff continuously. I think I remember having it on like the N64, and I literally played it for years. So,
well, there you go, guys. It's the perfect long-term or short-term, hopefully, quarantine game.
Yeah, like you could probably finish up all of the main story things, but then you could just do extra stuff. And I mean, like, obviously, you're probably not going to sit there for hours on end playing like I did yesterday and today and what I'll probably do tomorrow. But I also have this issue where I get bored of games relatively quickly. So a lot of times I do all of my binge playing when it first comes out. And then if I don't beat it within a certain period of time, it probably doesn't get beaten. So, yeah.
It'd be like that. And I understand that plight. But all right, guys, we're pretty much at time. So again, Gia and I enjoy this game. So far, Jay appears to be enjoying the game. I think Steven's going to be getting it soon. I think Kellz was talking about getting it. So who knows? We may jump back on here and get a little bit of feedback from those guys and just hear, some quick snippets of their thoughts on it.
Have a month down the road update.
Yeah, right.
So you can express how much you hate Tom and other people.
Damn you, Tom. Modern day pimp.
He charged me for breathing my own air.
Right? That's gonna cost you 50 miles. So
no. That's only for the move-in special. Everything else is in bells, yo.
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Have a good night or good morning. Stay safe. Don't get other people sick. Make sure you stock up on food and that young TP.
And make sure if you have not subscribed and you want to subscribe that you do, because stickers are going to go out soon. I'm going to put the order in the next week or two. We'll get those in and I'll start mailing them out.
Sounds good to me. All right, Gia, make sure you remind me to send you over that list of email addresses so you can let the people know.
Yes.
All right, guys. Take care.
Bye.